Our first story today features Superman and Aquaman. Each week we get a new team up and see how the friends' various powers can work together in different combinations. There's a lot of unnoticed creativity in that.
Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a strange submarine moves along the treacherous sea bottom.
Maintain heading 52 degrees northeast.
Aye, aye, Nemus. The island is dead ahead.
Excellent. Professor Fairweather should be testing his undersea mining device when we get there.
Deep sea mining is a thing we've been trying to get a handle on since around 1960. If you follow my reviews of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, we've encountered the idea multiple times there. Between 1960 and the early 80s, several nations spent several money trying to develop a way, and they all came up empty. By 1984, they had all given up and moved on to something a little more possible. Now in the 2020s, some countries and companies have figured out how to do it, but the question at this point is the impact on the ocean environment and hence on our food supply. Ultimately, everything we eat is dependent on the oceans in one way or another, and if we destroy the seas, we destroy ourselves by way of starvation. So yeah, it's kind of an important question. Environmental concerns, and especially geological factors, are why the professor is testing his machine where he is. Everything is reasonably stable, so his testing shouldn't have any major effect on the ocean around him. Emphasis on shouldn't.
But the world cannot wait for those cautious fools to test and set up safety standards. The mining must begin now.
1,000 meters to island and closing.
Now to activate the vanishing ray.
It only vanishes them, not the sub. If they surface, won't someone see it?
Quickly, lower your goggles. They'll enable you to see each other and the invisible sub. Into the airlock.
Oh, never mind. We see them slip onto the professor's boat.
Your ultrasonic mining device should be ready for its next test in a few hours, Professor Fairweather.
Take your time, Peterson. We must test it slowly. Its power could be devastating if it gets out of control.
Then do you suppose it might be a good idea to test it on a platform a little more stable than a Zodiac? Within moments, the villains have incapacitated the assistant and made off with both the machine and the professor.
That's right, Super Friends. And whoever it was that stole the mining device and abducted Professor Fairweather was invisible.
If the drilling device is as dangerous as you say, we have little time to find it.
With my keen aquatic senses, it shouldn't take too long. Let's go!
Does it bother anybody else the way Aquaman feels like he has to justify his existence all the time? This is happening in the ocean. No duh, he's at least one of the people for the job. Your comments consistently talk about how poorly Aquaman was treated in this series, but he seems to be written in such a way that he brings a lot of it on himself with self-important boasts like that. I don't know if it's intended this way, but he always sounds to me as though he's trying to convince himself. I understand why you were frustrated with his portrayal.
We're approaching the mining site, Nemus.
Very good. Hold the sub in position.
You mustn't use the mining device, Nemus. It hasn't had sufficient testing yet. Drilling with it could prove catastrophic.
Set the controls to start the device in 1 hour, or you may have to swim to the surface.
If I'm the professor and I know the potential consequences of operating the machine prematurely, I'm saying fine, point me to the airlock and I'll swim. You have fun with the machine after that. Nemus doesn't have a clue how to operate it, so without the professor, what he has there is highly complex, terribly expensive ballast. But I've played enough poker to have a fair idea when someone is bluffing. The professor hasn't. The big problem is the professor is sure that using his ultrasonic drill at this spot will probably cause an earthquake or worse. Nemus doesn't care. He sees dollar signs. Now, One of the reasons researchers gave up on deep-sea mining right around the time this was made is mineral prices crashed. The potential return suddenly wasn't even close to the potential investment. That means Nemus is a little late to the party. Everybody else already went home, and they didn't even leave any goodies lying around for him.
Great Neptune! That sub must have something to do with Professor Fairweather's disappearance. Aquaman to Superman, I've spotted a strange submarine in Sector 17.
The Super Friends. They mustn't interfere with my plans. Reactivate the vanishing ray.
Aye, sir. We'll soon find out who's at the bottom of this.
It disappeared!
They must have spotted us. My infrared vision should be able to pick up the sub's trail.
To the commenter who said that infrared vision and thermal vision are the same thing, I stand corrected. Thank you. Here's what threw me off. Last year sometime, I picked this up at a yard sale. It's a toy, but a fairly sophisticated one. I assumed it wouldn't work and just grabbed it for a potential prop. Lo and behold, I put batteries in it and the silly thing works. These two LEDs project infrared light and the camera lens is calibrated to pick it up. That image is passed to a little LCD screen right about here, which is what you look at. It looks like this. Yes, this thing can also record. Superman doesn't project infrared light. He detects it coming off bodies. That's generated by heat, which means it's also thermal vision. I hope my error makes more sense now. And by the way, with his infrared vision, Superman can see them clearly.
Impossible. They're following us. I'll give them a treat they're not expecting.
Question? That orca is the same size as the sub. Where does he keep it?
Something just plowed into me. It felt like a truck.
Superman! It's got me! An invisible killer whale!
Yeah, it's a truck that bites. Superman gets Aquaman loose and throws the orca far away. I hope that invisibility wears off after a while, or that fish is going to have the most interesting life ever.
Stop, Super Friends! Give up your pursuit, or Professor Fairweather will suffer the consequences!
I think we'd better do as he says.
Superman and Aquaman will give us no more trouble.
Dream on, little broomstick cowboy.
He really thinks that'll make them give up the pursuit. Superman takes to the air, still following with his infrared vision, while Aquaman keeps them in sight from a discreet distance, hiding himself by holding onto a manta ray. Nemus didn't expect any of that, even though he already knows they can somehow see his invisible sub. Nemus isn't too bright.
You haven't a chance against me and my invisible crew.
You won't be invisible too long with this octopus ink on you.
Quick, seize him!
I've seen a lot of octopus ink, none of it purple. But it's basic genetics. When a Pacific red octopus and a blue-ringed octopus love each other very much and get married, their children produce purple ink. Simple.
2 down and 1 to go.
Free my crew, Aquaman, or I'll take this sub on a crash dive to the bottom.
In that case, you should definitely wear your seatbelts, Captain.
Procrastination is the nemesis of all evildoers because they always have to talk a blue streak before they actually do the thing. It gives the heroes time to do that.
Aquaman, you've got to stop the mining device. It's set to go off in a few minutes.
I'll radio Superman immediately.
Right, Aquaman. I'll take care of it.
But as Superman heads toward the bottom, the huge mining device activates.
One time in his career, Superman is too slow. He shouldn't have been.
creating a violent undersea earthquake.
Pick it up. Break the contact with the ground. Did Superman forget to reset his clock for daylight saving time? He's running way behind everything today.
Get up and stop that device. This should shut it off.
I still think all he had to do was pick it up, but that's not important right now. He has some repair work to do. That's how you turn off an earthquake. With Nemus and the nematodes in jail, the professor can get back to testing his machine in a safer place and in a safer manner.
Perhaps one day our device will be ready to safely mine the ocean floor.
Hopefully operated by responsible people, not greedy individuals who would strip the Earth of its resources for their own selfish interests.
Right, and I hope I never see another invisible submarine.
If you see an invisible submarine, you may want to get your eyes checked.
Wait, Mom, let's use the crosswalk. Thought you were in a hurry to get to the game. Rather be a few minutes late than miss it altogether. Crossing a street from between a couple parked cars, it's easy to get hit. Drivers can't see you. Good thinking, son.
Hi, I spotted you two from my jet. I wanted to compliment you on your safety sense. Deciding to use the crosswalk. Smart move. Congratulations.
I'm waiting for someone to explain how taking 4 seconds to go to the crosswalk will make him minutes late. Now, all this standing around talking about how cool it is that he used the crosswalk, that'll make him late.
Late at night, in a remote mountain area, the Bear Club drives their van through the lonesome pines on their way to the final and most dangerous part of initiation for one of its new members.
I never understood stuff like this. To join this group, you have to do something really stupid, sometimes dangerous. Why? What's the point? They tell this kid, we all did it. So, why does he have to be as reckless and foolish as you were? What's the big deal about being in this or that club or fraternity or cult that people are willing to do things like we're going to see? I didn't understand it at that age, and I don't understand it at this age.
What do I have to do, Phil?
Just take a picture of old Slowpoke.
He's an old bear that lives in the cave. Bear? Isn't that kind of dangerous?
Nah, we all had to do it. You'll be in and out of the cave before the bear knows it.
Old Slowpoke couldn't catch his own shadow. Well, I've come this far.
The bear is sleeping, so getting the picture is easy. It helps that he's on a nice ledge above the bear.
Now to get out of here.
Or not. If the camera is still intact, he can get a picture like those other guys never thought of. And someday someone might even venture into the cave and find it in a pile of old bear poop. I've said in other places that a brown bear will generally run away rather than fight. The exception to that is when you do something to make him really, really angry.
Hey, Jeff's been in there a long time. You think something's happened?
Jeff? Jeff! Forget the picture! Come on out! You know, he may be in trouble. We better go for help.
It fascinates me that these kids always call the Wonder Twins rather than the police, forest rangers, animal control. In this case, that's okay. The Wonder Twins are out camping in the woods, so they can get there a lot quicker than those other folks.
Wonder Twin powers, activate! Shape of an eagle!
Form of water!
I still want to know where Gleek keeps that bucket. At the cave, the kids explain the situation, and the twins head in to find Jeff.
Help! Help!
Did you hear that, Sam?
Sounds like it came from that tunnel. Help! Somebody! Wonder Twins!
I'm gonna say a rhinoceros would be useful right now. A few nudges with the horn, and this guy'll decide to go do something else.
Shape of a gopher!
A what? Oh, I get it. She looks like an easy meal, so the bear goes off chasing her and Jeff can get away. Not the most brilliant plan I've ever heard, and I really hope she has an exit strategy in mind.
Form of water.
A moat. They made the world's smallest moat. Aside from the fact that the bear is big enough to step across it, you do know bears can swim, right? Right?
Wow, thanks. I hate to think what would have happened if you hadn't showed up.
Hey, we're sorry, Jeff. We never thought old Slowpoke could be dangerous.
You didn't realize that a 1,000-pound bear with claws 2 inches long could be dangerous. I have a feeling the intellectual quality of your club leaves something to be desired.
Yeah! And from now on, no more crazy pledge stunts to get in the club.
Yeah, from now on, it's strictly snipe hunts and whipped cream down the pants. You know, smart stuff.
Boy, I could use a good night's sleep, Batman.
There's a place right there where we can stop, Robin.
Hope the beds are good, Batman. I'm ready for some serious slumber.
Hold on, Robin. There's something we have to take care of before we check in.
What's more important than a good night's sleep?
The first clue to the code.
Holy puzzlement, Batman. I nearly forgot. What is the first clue?
The name of the place we're parked in front of. And I'll give you a hint. The word's not hotel.
That's good because the sign doesn't say hotel. It says hillside. So that's the first clue, I guess. Our main cartoon is called Coming of the Arthropods. Ooh, I hope that means we're having lobster for dinner.
Deep in space, on the outer rim of the galaxy, is a lone glowing planet.
And we care because...
Silence! The sentencing will now be carried out. You have been convicted of crimes committed against Insectonian society. You are hereby banished from this planet, never to return.
Banished! We will not be banished! You cannot!
Silence, Insecta! You will all depart immediately to a distant planet.
I wonder which one. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.
Justice is done.
Revenge will be mine! You will all pay for this! I promise you!
They are no longer our problem. Now let the planet called Earth deal with them.
December 30th, 1963 on ABC. The show is called The Outer Limits. The episode is called The Xanti Misfits. The inhabitants of Xanti are large ants with human faces, and after a disastrous and bloody first contact, we find out that they sent us their condemned criminals. Why? Because we Earthlings are good at killing things. We are experienced executioners, as they put it. They knew we would kill them, so they didn't have to. Tell me this isn't a rip-off of this. I was 10 when this aired, and yes, I watched it. I think I would have much rather had this, because this scared the bejabbers out of me. Now here's another question. It's 950,000 light years from Earth to the edge of the galaxy. How did they get here so fast? Light traffic on the freeway?
We cannot survive for long in this dry heat, Insecta.
Yes, we must find a jungle like our planet, where I can plan our revenge.
The planet is Insectonia. His name is Insecta. Such creativity. These guys are even the same size as the Xanti Misfits. Ants about as big as a large rat. It also appears that their judges deliberately dropped them in the middle of the desert to die of dehydration. But there are two problems with that. First, we don't say die on this show. Second, the convenience ferry is on their side.
A transportation vehicle carrying a weapon. We must make it ours.
Everyone to that tree!
When we got married in 1980, I was working at a truck stop doing gas and all of that stuff. Bugs on the windshield I could deal with, but I don't think a gas station squeegee is going to get those off. Now, he's on the inside and they're on the outside and they can't get to him, but I guess he doesn't know that.
Insects? No! No, get away! Stay away!
You are my servant. You will obey my commands.
I will obey.
Can they all do that? And how often do they do it to each other?
Batman, intelligence has just informed me that a truck carrying an unarmed missile has disappeared in the desert surrounding Kent Government Base.
I listened to it several times in several different ways, and I'm about 90% certain he said Camp Government Base. That's at least as imaginative as Insectonium.
Holy arthropods, Batman! Look at these giant insect tracks.
I've never seen anything like these, Robin.
I used to live in central Arizona. Ever see a big sand patch after a tarantula migration? Take those and multiply them by a number higher than you can count.
They may have something to do with the missile theft. We'll use the infrared heat follower. It'll pick up heat traces left by the truck. It's picked up something, Robin. Let's go.
This won't take long.
Holy hijackers, the missile's gone.
Right, Robin. And here are more of those strange tracks. They lead right into that cave. You hear that?
It sounds like...
Like somebody rubbing a cloth on a window?
Insects!
Oh, right, that too.
Insecta! Look! Intruders!
Holy dialogue, Batman! Those insects can talk!
Even more shocking, they speak American English.
$1 million worth of weaponry. I've traded all back for a lousy can of rain.
Quick, Robin. The bat gas masks.
They must not get the missile! Move it!
I suppose that's one way to move it, but you realize you can only do that once. The missile isn't armed, but if it slams into something at full speed, it might as well be. A call to Superman will take care of that. In the confusion, the insects disappear, so Batman and Robin head back to the Hall of Justice to see what the suits in Washington know about these critters.
All we've been able to find out is that the insects are not from this planet.
As Sergeant Fury used to say, who gave you the first clue, Sherlock?
The Air Force is trying to discover where they are from and what their purpose is.
I suggest we find out where they are now.
Aquaman and I will cover the coast.
Right. We'll take to the air. Zan, Jaina, stay here and monitor things.
You can count on me, Superman.
I'll see to that.
Yeah, we'll see about that, too. Where are they now?
Insecta and his swarm of insects gather outside a secret government experimental base.
The driver of the missile truck said there's a machine here that will guarantee my revenge on our planet.
Is that a money-back guarantee or an in-store credit guarantee? A runoff pipe gives them access to the base. What is this guaranteed thing?
This Meson Energizer is the greatest scientific advancement since the laser.
Its power to rearrange molecules will enable man to change useless deserts into lakes, transform rocks into fruit trees.
Gentlemen, does the word ecosystem mean anything to you? Those deserts and rocks exist for a reason. Example, soil that blows across the globe from the Sahara in Africa enriches the ground in South America. It's all connected, so dismantle that thing and build something else. Your idea could doom all of us.
But in the wrong hands, it could be very dangerous.
Insects!
I'll sound the alarm.
And then there's the problem of invasive species like lionfish in the Caribbean. Or those things. The Super Friends are all out looking for them, so the only ones at home to take the call are the Wonder Twins. They head out into the desert toward the base.
Whew, that trip to the desert was a hot one.
Sorry, Gleek. I'm not for drinking.
Drink, Zan? That could make for some interesting scenarios. Some we probably don't want to think about.
Jaina, take a look at that!
They're coming this way! Hide!
Wonder Twins to Super Friends! Wonder Twins to Super Friends!
This is Superman. Go ahead, Sam.
We found the bugs! They've overrun the government secret base and are removing a strange machine.
Stay out of sight. We'll be right there.
But true to form for today, Superman is running late.
They're leaving! And if they get away, we may never find them.
Well, Super Sis, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
For once, yes. Wonder Twin powers, activate! Form of a space insect!
Form of a vial of water!
Gleek keeps that vial the same place he keeps the bucket. Since Jaina looks just like one of the bugs now, she can walk right onto the plane. But Gleek is still holding Zan. How do they get aboard?
Zan and Gleek hid in the machine.
Yes, we know. We just watched them do it. How much room is there inside that thing, and why? The plane is in the air, headed for someplace that Insecta can set the machine up and point it at his home planet.
Looks like everything's all clear.
Great. Now let's get some rest.
Not until we give the second clue to the code.
Suffering shut-eye, Batman. I hope it isn't a hard one.
I think you can get it. It's the first 4 letters of the name of the divisions on the radar screen.
Degrees.
Those are called sectors.
Oh, never mind.
Is sectors the second clue?
The first 4 letters are. Can you stay awake long enough to guess the code word?
I think so.
Okay, the first clue was hillside, this one is sect. I don't get it. Are these bugs in some kind of cult then? The Super Friends arrive at the base to find it deserted. In particular, the Wonder Twins are missing.
All intruders must be dealt with. Insecta's orders.
Here come the guards. Maybe they can help.
They're not coming to help.
They're attacking.
The basic speed law is 55.
Oh my! It's been long enough now that I had almost forgotten about the 55 years. In response to the oil crisis of 1973, then-President Nixon instituted a national 55-mile-per-hour speed limit with the goal of saving energy. It went down in history as one of the dumbest ideas ever put into action. In particular, states like Montana, Wyoming, and Kansas that have miles and miles of nothing but miles and miles couldn't possibly enforce it. I have driven those long, empty freeways in all 3 of those states, and 55, you cannot be serious. He had to threaten to cut off federal money to states that didn't enforce it. So those big empty states said, oh yeah, we're enforcing it now, and dared anybody to go out there and prove that they weren't. In another effort to save energy, Nixon instituted emergency daylight saving time so that we wouldn't have to turn the lights on so soon in the evening when we got home. That meant we had to turn them on an hour earlier in the morning, so the whole thing was meaningless, but that's another story.
But this should slow you down.
A little jiggle of the head gets Insecta's gas out of their brains.
What happened?
Insecta and his insects. They stole the Meson Energizer.
They took a transport plane and have Professor Evans with them.
The twins must be on board with Insecta. We've got to locate that plane.
Even in 1977, all planes like that have a transponder that sends their identity out for air traffic controllers to see. Get to the nearest airport and I'll bet they can find it for you.
Much later, Insecta's plane flies over the Amazon jungle of South America.
Ah, yes, the moist Amazon jungle. The perfect place for us to live and seek our vengeance.
The last I heard, ants and rain don't get along very well. Is the weather going to take care of these critters for us?
Bring the plane down.
I've got to let the Super Friends know where we are. next to our arrival in the Amazon?
Yes, have them prepare the Meson Energizer. Holy podcasts, it's Jaina and Insecta.
Right, Robin. And she's cleverly informed us of her location.
Yeah, she's in the Amazon jungle, which we now call a rainforest. That's only 2.5 million square miles, so finding her should be a breeze. Still, it's more to go on than they had before, so Superman and Wonder Woman will search from the air, while Aquaman and the dynamic duo scout the rivers in the Bat jet boat. Suggestion, folks? Look for an airport. Just a thought.
Later, at the Amazon airstrip.
Told you.
All posts, be on the lookout for strange insect invaders. Use caution. The Wonder Twins may be with them.
I must warn Insecta.
Moments later, inside an ancient Mayan pyramid, Insecta is informed of the radio message.
Out on the river, a lookout has spotted the Bat jet boat heading their way. The invaders are ready for them.
Holy boulders, we're under attack.
Hang on. I think we're gonna make it.
We've been hit.
Batman isn't wrong very often, but when he is, it's a humdinger. After they deal with some nosy crocodiles, Batman and Robin pick up the trail while Aquaman calls the others to their location. Meanwhile, by controlling the scientist, Insecta has the Meson Energizer ready to fire at his home planet, covering nearly 1 billion light years in a few seconds with it, and get his revenge. Jaina isn't sure what'll happen if they fire it with Zan and Gleek inside.
Wait! The intruders are inside the Meson Energizer!
Have you flipped, Jaina?
Stop talking and start changing!
Wonder Twin powers,
deactivate!
A trick! Get them!
Professor Evans, snap out of it!
What's happening?
Let's get out of here!
Good idea. Where's the nearest door?
Quick, to the top of that pyramid!
Don't go up. It never turns out well.
We're trapped!
You can't say I didn't warn you.
Wonder Twin powers, activate!
Form of a ski slope.
Shape of a polar bear! Hop on, Professor!
Let them go for now. We have more important work to do.
Isn't that the typical bully's response? Oh, I didn't want to catch him anyway. Sure, Sparky, but he apparently did learn how to operate the machine from the professor.
Later, the Super Friends have regrouped to form a plan against Insecta and his swarm.
And Insecta is getting ready to fire the Professor's Meson Energizer at his home planet.
There's no time to lose. Wonder Woman and I will put the Meson Energizer out of commission.
Break the machine. It took all of them to think of that. Why didn't Zan and Gleek start doing that from the inside when they didn't have anything else to do?
So our flying Earthlings have come to pay us a visit. Aim the machine. This will teach them to interfere with Insecta.
Superman to Super Friends, we've been hit by the Meson Ray, turning to stone.
Well, not exactly, but they might as well be made of stone because neither of them can move.
Holy statues! We've got to get that Meson Energizer to save Superman and Wonder Woman.
Our only chance is to get into the ruins undetected.
Our bat boot jets will get us there in no time.
How is that supposed to keep them undetected?
This ancient canal should lead me right into the pyramid.
That makes a lot more sense. At the very least, it makes a lot less noise.
Geronimo! The Super Earthlings! Get them!
Quick, Robin, the bat vacuum! That should hold them harmlessly till we round up the others.
It wasn't exactly a can of raid, but it worked. Too bad for Insectonia that Insecta has quick reflexes.
My one chance, I must not fail!
Press the bat fans!
I must fire the ray
Before Insecta's own mist subdues him, he fires one quick burst of the Meson Energizer. But it strikes harmlessly in the jungles of the insect planet, turning only a portion of it to stone.
Okay, gentlemen, here's your chance. Tell him he's an honest, law-abiding citizen of Insectonia who always does what's right, and send him back. I confess, I got that idea from Goofy in a comic I read when I was a kid, but if it works, don't knock it. The professor uses the machine to restore Superman and Wonder Woman, and then Superman takes these guys back to their planet, with some strong advice for the planet's leaders. Don't ever do that to us again.
Instead of passing your problems on to others, you must learn to deal with them yourselves.
We have learned a lesson, Superman. We will try to rehabilitate them here on our own planet.
Hit them with a couple more doses of that antenna gas and it shouldn't be too difficult. But just for my own records, remind me why you didn't do that in the first place?
The area of our jungle which was turned to stone will be a constant reminder of our mistake.
I'm not sure what else they would do with it since they don't have their own Meson generator to put it back, but I'll give them their little noble gesture. Let's move on to the decoder solution. I already got it, Hillside Sect. I'm going to speculate that's the name of Insecta's gang. Let's see how I did.
Hey, Robin, wake up. Time to give the Super Friends the code word for today.
Well, I'm ready. I knew what it was before I went to sleep.
Let's hear what you got.
Okay, the first clue was the name of the place we're parked in front of. An inn.
Good.
And the second clue was the first four letters of the word sector. Sect. Put in and sect together, you get insect.
Not too bad for someone who fell asleep on the job.
Don't judge me. Our guest star today is Rima again. But first, Aquaman wants to show us a magic trick.
The trick's called the disappearing coin illusion. And I'll be right back to tell you how it's done.
That's pretty good. I'll be interested to see how it's done, and if there are advantages to being a cartoon when you do it. Our final story takes us back to the Amazon jungle,
where 3 geologists search for valuable mineral deposits vital to the future development of Brazil.
Manuela! Santander! I found something. What is it? It's beautiful.
It's a burial necklace. This must be sacred Javaro burial ground.
The Javaros are headhunters. We are in great danger. Quick, put the necklace back.
They do all they can to restore the area to its original condition, but as far as the Javaros are concerned, the damage has been done. The Super Friends receive the news that 3 scientists have disappeared in the area, possibly victims of the Javaros. Since the Amazon jungle is Rima's home, she'll guide Wonder Woman to Javaro land. She says they're usually peaceful unless you really make them angry, like these 3 did.
The Javaros have drawn a picture of our death sentence in the dirt.
The river of doom.
They tie you to a log and turn it loose in the river. What happens next is up to the rapids, the crocodiles, and, God.
This jungle cover is too thick, Wonder Woman. My animal friends may be able to help us on the ground.
I'll land the invisible jet in that clearing.
There's a reason why the top layer of a rainforest is called the canopy. Wait, it's actually canopy, but you also cannot see through it. So I stand by my word. Today, it's a canopy.
At Rima's command, the jungle animals use their keen senses to help locate the missing geologists.
The animals relay the location of the Javaro village, and the 2 heroes are off to rescue the geologists.
Time to tell you how to do that disappearing coin illusion. First, rub some wax on the nail of your middle finger. Put a dime in the palm of your hand and slowly close your hand so that the nail with the wax on it contacts the coin. After a couple of magic passes over your hand, the dime will stick to your nail and disappear out of your hand. To make the dime reappear, all you have to do is close your hand and release the dime from your nail.
I see one obvious flaw, at least the way he did it. If you open your hand like this the way he did, people have time to see the coin stuck to your finger. Gotta move faster than that, dude. But don't move too fast or the coin might go flying across the room. This is getting way too complicated.
Later, the captive geologists are about to be placed at the mercy of the River of Doom.
Our only chance to save them is to take the Hivaros by surprise.
We must throw them away from the log.
I think you're a little late. The log is drawing away from them.
I'll cover them with a dust screen while you head for the river.
It's a good thing the world's longest didgeridoo happened to be there. And apparently there are many ways to play a didgeridoo. I had no idea. The Hivaros try to follow in canoes, but Rima calls a couple of crocodiles to hassle them and put them off the chase. Back at the village,
the Hivaros understand that you violated their sacred burial ground by mistake.
They have offered to help you in your search for minerals.
That's great. I'd much rather have them looking with me than looking for me.
And suddenly they not only understand English, they understand our word jokes. Eat your heart out, Duolingo.
Superman, man, am I glad to see you.
What are you doing on this deserted road?
Some guys from school drove out here and we're gonna start fooling around with drugs. When I told them all drugs do is mess up your head and get you in a lot of trouble, they kicked me out of the van and drove off.
You're right not to get involved in the drug scene. Nobody with any sense wants any part of it.
How do I get home?
That's no problem at all.
You're talking to Superman. Do you suddenly realize what a silly question that was? I still think Coming of the Arthropods was a ripoff of, or maybe I should give them the benefit of the doubt and say tribute to, the Zanti Misfits, but for what the show is, it was well done. Obviously, we don't kill anybody or anything in this series. We don't even use the word. But within that structure, we did a good story and a good lesson about dealing with your own crap rather than palming it off on somebody else. I did like the Wonder Twins story, mainly because I frequently have a problem with the way television portrays bears. Today, we saw a reasonably believable one. Overall, the quality of the episodes remains at a constant level of very good. We learned that using crosswalks is good, using drugs is bad, magic tricks are fun, and there are geologists out there who can teach you English in 10 seconds or less. Let's see Babel do that. Close to the name it. Come on, follow it. Okay. It fascinates. Stupid thing. Come on. Closer by. What the heck was that?